All right, good morning. Hope you're enjoying spring break. I wanted us to be able to finish Stone Fox before spring break was over. So we're in our last two chapters to see if Little Willie can beat the unbeatable Stone Fox. So we'll start out with chapter 9, The Race. Searchlight sprang forward with such force that Little Willie couldn't hang on. If it weren't for Lucky Grab, he would have fallen off the sled for sure. In what seemed only seconds, Little Willie and Searchlight had traveled down Main Street, turned onto North Road, and were gone. Far, far ahead of the others, they were winning, at least for the moment. Stone Fox started off dead last. He went slowly down Main Street that everyone was sure something was wrong. Swish! Little Willie's sled flew by the schoolhouse on the outskirts of town and the old deserted barn. Swish, swish, swish. Other racers followed in hot pursuit. Go, Searchlight, go! Little Willie sang out. The cold wind pierced against his face and caused his good eye to shut almost completely. The snow was well packed. It was going to be a fast race today, the fastest they'd ever run. The road was full of dangerous twists and turns, but Little Willie did not have to slow down as other racers did. With only one dog and a small sled, he was able to take sharp turns at full speed, without the risk of sliding off the road or losing control. Therefore, with each turn, Little Willie pulled farther and farther ahead. Swish! The sled rounded a corner, sending snow flying. Little Willie was smiling. This was fun. About 3 miles out of town, the road made a half circle around a frozen lake. Instead of following the turn, Little Willie took a shortcut right across the lake. This was tricky going, but Searchlight had done it many times before. Little Willie had asked Mayor Smiley if it was permitted to go across the lake, not wanting to be disqualified. As long as you leave town heading north and come back on the south road, the mayor had said, anything goes. None of the other racers attempted to cross the lake, not even Stone Fox. The risk of falling through the ice was too great. Little Willie's lead increased. Stone Fox was still running in last place, but he was picking up speed. At the end of the 5 miles, Little Willie was so far out in front that he couldn't see nobody behind him when he looked back. He knew, however, that the return 5 miles going back into town would not be easy. The trail along South Road was practically straight and very smooth, and Stone Fox was sure to close the gap. But by how much? Little Willie didn't know. Doc Smith's house flew by on the right, and the tall trees surrounding the cabin seemed like one solid wall. Grandfather's farm was coming up next. When Searchlight saw the farmhouse, she started to pick up speed. No, girl, Little Willie. No, girl, Little Willie yelled. Not yet. As they approached the farmhouse, Little Willie thought he saw someone in Grandfather's bed window. It was difficult to see with only one good eye. The someone was a man with a full beard. It couldn't be, but it was. It was Grandfather. Grandfather was sitting up in the bed. He was looking out the window. Little Willie was so excited he couldn't think straight. He started to stop the sled, but Grandfather indicated no, waving him on. Of course, Little Willie said to himself, I must finish the race. I haven't won yet. Go, Searchlight, Little Willie shrieked. Go, girl. Grandfather was better. Tears of joy rolled down Little Willie's smiling face. Everything was going to be all right. And then Stone Fox made his move. One by one, he began to pass the other racers. He went from last place to 8th, then from 8th to 7th, then from 7th to 6th, from 6th to 5th. He passed the others if they were standing still. He went from 5th place to 4th, then to 3rd, then to 2nd, until only Little Willie remained. But Little Willie still had a good lead. In fact, it was not until the last 2 miles of the race that Stone Fox got his first glimpse of Little Willie since the race had begun. The Samoyeds looked magnificent as they moved effortlessly across the snow. Stone Fox was gaining, and he was gaining fast, and Little Willie wasn't aware of it. Look back, Little Willie, look back. But Little Willie didn't look back. He was busy thinking about Grandfather. He could hear him laughing and playing his harmonica. Finally, Little Willie glanced back over his shoulder. He couldn't believe what he saw. Stone Fox was nearly on top of him. That made Little Willie mad at himself. Why didn't he look back more often? What do you think he was doing? He hadn't won yet. Well, no time to think about that now. He had a race to win. Go, Searchlight, go, girl! But Stone Fox kept gaining, silently, steadily. Go, Searchlight, go! He led the Samoas past Willie and pulled up even with Searchlight. And there were then it was a nose ahead. But that was all. Searchlight moved forward, inching her nose ahead. Here they are, practically side by side. Little Willie and Stone Fox. Then the Samoas regained the lead. Then Searchlight. When you enter the town of Jackson on the south road, the first buildings come into view in a half a mile. Whether Searchlight took those buildings to be grandfather's farmhouse again, no one can be for sure. But it was the time that she poured on the steam. Little Willie's sled seemed to lift up off the ground and fly. Stone Fox was left behind, but not far behind. Chapter 10, the finish line. The crowd cheered madly when they saw Little Willie come into view at the far end of the main street. Even more madly when they saw Stone Fox was right on his tail. Go, Searchlight, go! Searchlight forged ahead, but Stone Fox was gaining. Go, Searchlight, go! Little Willie cried out. Searchlight gave it everything he had. She was 100 feet from the finish line when her heart burst. She died instantly. There was no suffering. The sled and Little Willie tumbled over and slid along the snow for a while, then came to a stop about 10 feet from the finish line. It had started to snow. White snowflakes landed on Searchlight's dark fur as she lay motionless on the ground. The crowd became deadly silent. Lester's eyes looked at the ground. Mrs. Williams had her hands over her mouth. Mr. Foster's cigar lay on the snow. Doc Smith ran over to see Little Willie, but stopped. Mayor Smiley looked shocked and helpless, and so did Hank and Dusty, and so did the city slickers, and so did Clifford Snyder, the taxman. Stone Fox brought his sled to a stop alongside Little Willie. He stood tall in the icy wind and looked down at the young challenger and the dog that lay limp in his arms. Is she dead, Mr. Stone Fox? Is she dead? Little Willie asked, looking up at Stone Fox with his good eye. Stone Fox knelt down and put one massive hand on Searchlight's chest. He felt no heartbeat. He looked at Little Willie, and the boy understood. Little Willie squeezed Searchlight with all his might. You did real good, girl, real good. I'm real proud of you. You rest now, just rest. Little Willie began to brush the snow off Searchlight's back. Stone Fox stood up slowly. No one spoke. No one moved. All eyes were on the Indian, the one called Stone Fox, the one who had never lost a race and who now had another victory within his grasp. But Stone Fox did nothing. He just stood there like a mountain. His eyes shifted to his own dog, to his own dogs, then to the finish line, and then back to Little Willie, holding Searchlight. With the heel of his moccasin, Stone Fox drew a line in the snow, and then he walked back over to his sled and pulled out his rifle. Down at the end of Main Street, the other racers began to appear. As they approached, Stone Fox fired his rifle into the air. They came to a stop. Stone Fox spoke. Anyone who crosses this line, I shoot. And there wasn't anybody who didn't believe him. Stone Fox nodded to the boy. The town looked on in silence as Little Willie, carrying Searchlight, walked the last 10 feet across the finish line. So, will, determination, and sadness. But Little Willie won the race with Searchlight. He carried his teammate across the line. It's a great movie. Miss Sears has it. So if we get back, we're planning on watching the movie. If you find it and want to watch it ahead of time, that's great. Hope you've enjoyed the movie, and I will talk to you next week.